Have you ever felt the cold breath of the past on your neck? A whisper from the grave demanding attention. Do you truly believe your secrets are safe, buried beneath layers of time and dust? What if the very ground you walk upon, the walls that shield you, remember every transgression, every act of betrayal? Imagine a world where the echoes of a past wrong refuse to fade, where a selfish desire birthed a wound so profound it festered for decades, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash its chilling vengeance. Could your own comfortable existence be merely a fragile facade, concealing a truth so dark it yearns to shatter your sanity? Agnes Periwinkle, a woman whose perpetually furrowed brow hinted at a lifetime of unspoken worries, resided in a secluded, weather-beaten cottage on the outskirts of Havenwood, a town notorious for its relentless fogs, and the hushed, almost reverent way its oldest residents spoke of the old quarry. Agnes had inherited the cottage from her Aunt Mildred, a reclusive spinster who had lived out her days haunted by an unnamed sorrow. What Agnes did not know, what no one in Havenwood truly spoke of aloud, was the chilling secret woven into the very fabric of the Periwinkle lineage.
Get to work!
Decades prior, Agnes's grandfather, Thomas Periwinkle, a man of avarice and little conscience, had owned a small but profitable timber operation. When the town needed stone for a new bridge, he had purchased the land around the old quarry, knowing full well that a small immigrant family, the O'Malleys, who had no legal claim but had lived and toiled on the land for generations, considered it their home. Thomas, eager for the quarry's lucrative potential, had driven them off with threats and legal chicanery, their pleas for mercy falling on deaf ears. The O'Malleys, particularly the patriarch, Seamus, had sworn a bitter curse upon the Periwinkle name, vowing that their land would never rest, and neither would those who profited from their misery. The family had vanished into the otherwise oppressive silence. One afternoon, Agnes found a small, crudely carved wooden doll, its eyes fashioned from dark pebbles, placed deliberately on her pillow. A toy she had never seen before. She threw it into the roaring fireplace, only to find it back on her pillow the next morning, untouched by the flames, its pebble eyes seeming to gleam with a sinister amusement. The air in the cottage grew heavy, a palpable pressure that made breathing difficult, a sense of suffocating dread that clung to her. She started to see fleeting shadows at the periphery of her vision, darting away before she could focus, suggesting movement in otherwise empty rooms. Her dreams became a nightly torment. Murky water, the sound of picks striking stone, and the spectral faces of men, women, and children. Their eyes wide with a cold, unforgiving wrath, their mouths opening in silent, accusing screams. The scent of bog water and raw earth intensified, permeating every room, turning her quaint cottage into a dank, living tomb. She began to find small stones meticulously arranged in circles on her kitchen counter, on her bedside table, a silent, unnerving reminder of the quarry. The floorboards in the hallway, especially near the cellar door, began to creak incessantly, even when no one walked upon them, mimicking the rhythmic footfalls of someone pacing back and forth, always just out of sight. Agnes's nerves frayed. Her once steady hands now trembled. Her appetite vanished, replaced by a constant knot of fear in her stomach. She started to mumble to herself, arguing with the unseen presences that seemed to mock her with their silent vigilance. The cottage, her sanctuary, had transformed into a cage, its walls closing in, its shadows teeming with malevolent intent. She felt as though she was being slowly, deliberately driven insane. Her reality subtly twisted, her senses deceived. The sound of faint, sorrowful Gaelic singing would sometimes drift up from the cellar. A haunting lament that spoke of displacement. At the bottom, a faint phosphorescent glow emanated from a section of the dirt floor. As Agnes drew closer, the glow intensified, revealing a crudely etched symbol. A Celtic knot intertwined with a pickaxe, shimmering on the earthen floor. Then, from the very soil, translucent figures began to rise. A man with a stern, weather-beaten face, a woman with a child clutched to her chest, and several other spectral forms, all with eyes that burned with a cold, furious light. They were the O'Malleys, their forms wreathed in the mists of the quarry. Their voices now clear, echoing the words of Seamus's ancient curse. You took our land, our home, our peace. Now your peace shall be broken, your mind shattered, your name erased. The weight of Thomas Periwinkle's selfish act, his callous greed, descended upon Agnes with crushing force. She saw the despair in their spectral eyes, the generations of suffering, the root of her own family's prosperity born of their ruin. The spectral figures closed in, their silent accusations piercing her mind, tearing at the delicate threads of her sanity. Overwhelmed by the visceral guilt, a legacy that was not her own yet utterly consuming, Agnes stumbled backward, her mind snapping under the unbearable pressure. She saw no escape, no redemption, only the endless, accusing eyes of the wronged. Her screams, raw and desperate, were swallowed by the echoing wails of the O'Malley family, as she frantically began to claw at the dirt floor, digging, burrowing, trying to find an escape from the unbearable truth. Her fingernails tearing, her hands bleeding, desperately attempting to join them in the earth, to bury herself alongside their ancestral pain. When the fog finally lifted, Agnes Periwinkle was gone, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only the disturbed earth in the cellar and the persistent, mournful scent of the quarry. The silence that now hangs over Agnes Periwinkle's cottage is not peaceful, but a heavy, watchful stillness, pregnant with the weight of unattainable.